On today's episode of Six Pack Cinema, we are talking about Jordan Peele's second movie, the one after Get Out. It's called Us. It's about a family's serenity that turns into chaos when a group of doppelgangers begins to terrorize them. That's not really what it's about. That's what they're saying it's about.
Dude, you should review movies.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, I've had a couple, so movie review.
What's up? Thank you for joining us on Six Pack Cinema. My name is Jimmy. I got John and Dave here. We're going to review Us. If this is your first time listening, thanks for stopping by. If you're a repeat listener, we appreciate you as well. The way we do things here is we're going to go around and give our gut reaction to the movie, a little one to two sentence review of our feelings about it, then go into detail everything we like. Then we're going to officially give it our rating, popcorn, and what's the other one? Cinematic. Popcorn's out of 5. Cinematic
Critical.
is out of critical. I can never remember. Critical is out of 100. All right. Anyway, John, Dave, how you guys doing?
Doing wonderful.
Doing okay.
All right. Let's do our gut reactions. John, you go first.
All right. I originally didn't want to go see this because I hate horror movies and I'm a scaredy little bitch. I know. It wasn't a big deal for me because I was initially it got me intense. It was really kind of thrilling. It was scary, but then it got to a certain point where I was like, well, this is just fucking stupid, and it took me right out of it. I wasn't too scared anymore.
Okay, but wait, I feel like those were your feelings on if it was a horror movie or not. But what about?
No. Okay, sorry. So it was stupid. So therefore, it just wasn't good, and so then I didn't care so much.
Okay.
I think I was too worried about where the fuck did the hands across America come in, and the doppelganger was just weird instantly. It got a little convoluted for me and took me right out, and I was like, this is stupid.
Okay, Dave. I think Dave's gonna have a much different opinion.
Wildly different, I know.
So I like the movie. I go back and forth on whether I like it more than Get Out or not, but I completely understand why other people don't like it. In my mind, this is like this and Get Out are very different from one another. One is every scene, every word is moving the plot along. It's very logical. Where this is the premise. It doesn't make sense. You either have to suspend your disbelief or don't. And if you don't, there's nothing wrong with that. But then you're just not going to like the movie because it's a wacky premise that you just have to ignore.
Yep.
And focus on the overall messages and the symbolism, which is why I like this movie more.
I liked this movie. I didn't for the first 40 minutes. I thought it was so slow and boring for so long. I like this movie. I think what Jordan Peele's doing is really, really interesting, just in movie cinema world. The fact that he can take these societal issues and put them into horror movies, that's how he's packaging them up and delivering to mass audiences, I think is really impressive. I don't think this movie's great. It didn't take me by surprise, but I think it's good. And we'll get way more into it as we go.
Mm-hmm. My initial reaction walking out, I texted Dave. I was like, that wasn't so bad. It wasn't so scary. But the more I think about it, the more I'm just kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's definitely a movie where you can't think too hard on well, that doesn't make sense. Why were there millions of people living? You just have to accept that's the world that they're in.
I'm usually very good at doing that. I'm a big superhero guy.
Yeah,
Obviously,
but you
I
also
don't.
miss a ton of stuff.
That's what I was kind of like. That's the big thing when I want to come here today and find out what I'm missing because I know there has to be some things that I just didn't get.
Do you get when did you find out the twist was coming? This is when I love. When did you figure out that she was actually the evil person? Tell me it was when they told you with the flashback.
No, when she snapped her neck, and she gave it a little rawr thing.
So after that?
So when they were fighting?
Yeah, when she killed her, I was like, oh fuck. So that wasn't the real mom. That was she was primal almost. I was like, okay.
She's
First,
a real mom, but she was the tethered version. They switched
exactly.
when they were 8. Yeah.
At first, I thought oh, maybe that now that she killed her, they became one, not tethered anymore, and she absorbed a little bit more of that. But I was like, well, no, that doesn't make sense because the father killed his doppelganger, and he's normal still, So that's when I pieced together. I was like, okay, yeah, something's up.
So I don't like watching trailers. That's a well-documented
The
fact
trailer
here.
ruined that twist for me, though.
Trailer ruined that twist for me. Because in the trailer they show her snapping, and she's just so fucking weird. And then I remember like reading like a couple comments, and it was like, why? I think it was on Twitter. Like someone was like, she's snapping so offbeat that has to be a key plot to this movie. And I was like, fuck, I didn't even want to know that. So then I went in knowing something's off about the mom. And then the whole way she was talking, I thought it was Lupita being a weirdo and like being bad at covering her accent, but it was because that person, she didn't know how to talk until she was 8. She had to assimilate to the untethered world. That's why she talked weird. But when the mom said, I just want my daughter back with the little girls, you know, she's like, can't talk. I just want my daughter back. I said to myself then, oh, they switched. But then I forgot that line. And then towards the ending, I was like, oh. And then when she walked down the tunnels and she knew exactly where to go and what classroom to go into, I was like, that's definitely the switch. That's when it was like cemented, but I had some hints along the way.
So I had a different reason the trailer ruined it for me, because there's a scene in it that's probably near the end, which is why you didn't see it, Jimmy. You probably turned it off. That shows the little girl like being choked by the other little girl. And the fact that they kept hiding that from like the flashbacks throughout the movie, I was like, of course they fucking switched and they're saving that as a reveal.
That's really dumb to show in a trailer.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What did they show in the trailer? I missed that.
They showed the little girl being choked by her doppler.
Yeah, dude, that's why you can't watch trailers.
Yeah.
Can't watch trailers. All right.
So
I thought there were a lot of really good hints that she was the doppelganger throughout the whole movie. Once you know about it, like you can pick it up. Like in the beginning, she's eating the strawberry, kind of like how rabbits would. She's not eating like a normal person.
Oh, I have that in my notes, that strawberry scene, because we see the little girl holding the red apple to start the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think, oh, that little girl's probably the main character in this movie. But when they then cut to Lupita holding the red strawberry in kind of the right hand, it's just really good filmmaking, because subconsciously you tie that together and you go, oh, that's the girl.
Yeah.
And like, not everyone's going to be like, it's because of the red fruit in her hand, but subconsciously you just see that. And that's what connects that final dot for you. I think instead of being flat out just saying it, I like that little thing they did there.
Yeah. There was that. She also told Elizabeth Moss's character, she's like, I can't talk well. And a lot of people, when you first hear that, you think like, she's like, oh, like an introvert. She doesn't like talking to these people. But no, it's because she didn't know how to talk till she was 8.
No, I mean, yeah, looking back, sure, that's a little plant. But at the time, I was like, okay, well, she just hates this girl, Dahlia.
Well, yeah, I think it plays both ways. Like that's
because she was well versed in speaking to her husband the whole time. It wasn't like she was like struggling for words.
No, she was. She was weird. Yeah, when she was talking about the little girl on the bed, she was talking so strangely.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
I have it in my notes. Fuck, I took so many notes. And
this goes to me missing things entirely.
I said her accent is slipping when she's telling him about the little girl that she once met. This whole scene, she's talking so weird. That's my note.
Yeah, and like you could tell that she was kind of regressing a little bit there too, because it depends on whether you believe she actually remembered everything or not, or she had repressed it because she was a child. I think she had repressed it, and like just being back there was bringing it up and giving her panic attacks, and like that's why she started to regress.
Yeah. So the something I think that kind of sucks for Jordan Peele is that after we watched Get Out, at the end when it was revealed, and then all the and this was this and this was this and he left that there and that's why that happened. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh shit, Jordan Peele like really handles this stuff with care. So when I go into this film, I'm just like everything leads to something else. So Hands Across America, boom, in my notes. That's going to be something. And then I said, what is Chud? Because the VHS right next to the TV was Chud, and I wanted to Google it right then and there because
good movie.
I just knew I didn't know what Chud was. I knew that had to be something, or CHUD. I don't know how you say it. And I just looked it up. It's a movie that's about a filmmaker documenting the lives of subterranean homeless people, a population that has mysteriously dwindled After receiving information from a reporter, he becomes aware that there's cannibalism and monsters lurking in the sewers. That's how much Jordan Peele handles this with care. But I kind of think it like sucks that everyone knows that now, because you can
Yeah.
figure it out as long as you pay attention.
Well, unless you're like me and you don't.
Yeah, I mean, did you pick up on the whole metaphor that it is?
The metaphor of
Like, what do you think this whole movie is a metaphor for?
Oh God. I don't know. Maybe just like. I honestly, God, I don't know. I don't know. I know these are like the people like fighting with their inner selves at darker sides, sure, but like
No. So, okay.
fucking okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Gene,
Tell me.
So you didn't get it. That's crazy.
No, I told you I don't get it.
That's crazy. So the tethered people represent the disenfranchised, the lower level, the poor, the minorities of America that aren't given a chance. They aren't given a chance at all. But Lupita's character, Red, when she switches, that's her getting a chance in the real world, and she thrives. And it's saying if you just give them the opportunity, they can thrive and become part of society.
Sure.
And it had
That
nothing to do with
makes
her
sense.
birth, because like the real Adelaide would have been given that chance, and because she was robbed of it, she devolved into an animalistic killer.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, yeah, it makes sense when you say it like that.
Yeah. And then like the white family was like born
super
into
rich.
wealth, never had to fight for anything. They just died right away. But Lupita came from the sewers, so she like had that fight in her.
Yeah, but then okay, how about that connects a little dot for me because the one person who sucked at killing people was Lupita's dark side, or the real Lupita.
Because she felt like she was part of those
Empathy.
people. They were her people.
Yeah.
She felt empathy for the tethered.
No. Because I'm talking about like the bad one,
Red.
the daughter
Right.
who got the girl who got dragged and wrongfully placed underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She sucked at killing people.
Did she? I don't really remember.
Well, because she was very human and she wanted to drag things out. She said that she wanted to make this thing last, and because of that, she opened up opportunity for them to get like fucked over.
Yes. Like with the white family, the doppelgangers just immediately killed them. They didn't want to give a speech. Or, I mean, they couldn't speak because none of them could. But yeah, Red, because she kind of had empathy and she knew the life they must have lived because she had a taste of it. She was more angry than the rest of the tethered and just wanted to like have her villain monologue and to like bitch at them and be like,
Yeah.
She even says, "You could have taken me. Like we could have walked out of there together. It could have been both of us. You didn't have to push me down for you to go up."
Yeah. Yeah. My whole problem with this movie is it was 2 hours long and it just shouldn't have been. Horror movies don't need to be 2 hours long. The whole first act, until they started fighting one-on-one with their doppelganger, their tethered version, the family, until then I was like, get this movie going. Like you've given me enough symbols and lines to know, like, to remember for later. The beach scene and
enough.
everything was just like slow and dragged out. And then when Lupita talked, or Red talked in that accent, I read an interview. She said she handled it with care and all this. That was terrible. That was
piss
the
poor.
director, Jordan Peele, should have heard that voice and said, "Listen, this makes sense because of the throat crushing and you haven't talked for years, but it's laughable." Because I just started
I
laughing.
liked it because I liked that it progressed throughout the whole movie. Like in the beginning, it was like laughable and bad, but by the end, as she's been talking more and more, her voice is coming back.
I
Yeah, but
get
it just-
that,
it was
but those
frustrating
first
listening to it.
opening lines in that first scene, I couldn't even focus on her message because I was just like, "This is so stupid."
Mm-hmm.
Like it
Agree.
took me out. I was laughing at the performance instead of.
Fair. I will say this movie was surprisingly funny, too.
Oh, my friend said that. I didn't laugh once.
What? I don't think I've ever related to a character more than Gabe.
The
He
dad.
was great.
Yeah, literally.
That was great.
Yeah, he was probably my favorite movie character of all time. The people I were with halfway through the movie turned to me and they were like, "When you have kids, that's who you're going to be."
He
I
was-
had that exact
he
same
was-
corny sense of humor.
He was every dad in every sitcom that's ever been created. Like that was an original character. I didn't think that was funny or unique or good or anything.
I just think he was probably the best version of that I've seen.
Yeah, he was that stereotype, but perfected.
Like I mean, that's classic dad. You got a shitty motorboat and it just like dies, and he's like, "Oh, it's coming around. Don't worry, I got it. It was really cheap. Don't worry."
He's like, "Yeah, don't worry, guys. I got a boat, and it's a shitty 12-foot motorboat." And he's like, "Crawdaddy."
Yeah, exactly. So
That was perfect.
Yeah. Well, we don't.
he was done. It did well. So yeah, checkpoint for him, Gabe. Awesome.
Yeah. One of my notes was I wish this was funnier. So we just completely disagree there.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I did like. I think Jordan, like, the direction of this movie was better than Get Out. I think the first, like, with Get Out, you could see that he was kind of like, it was his first time directing something, and he was a little unsure of himself. But in this, it felt like he was just unleashing and going all out, and had real confidence in what he was shooting.
This was more grand.
Yeah.
The whole
I
movie
think
just
even some of, like, the smaller shots, like, I'm thinking of in the beginning when she's, like, trying to explain to Gabe that she's terrified and she wants to leave, and she's, like, talking to the mirror, and, like, you just see the reflection of her. I think that was shot really well. I think when she's being pushed down onto the table and it starts to crack and it's just the reflection of herself, that was shot really well. Not even, like, the grand shots. Like,
I really like the overhead
I
of
think he was better
the
at
beach.
the intimate stuff.
I like the overhead of the beach with them walking and their shadows walking as well as them, because that was the whole thing. Their shadows were walking underneath the ground the same as them as well. So I liked that shot and how it tied in the future. There's a couple things I liked like that. What else was my note here? My note, well, okay, so I want to go into. Oh, here's the note for you, John.
What was that?
When the boy comes out of the porta potty and sees the man with the bloody finger,
Mm-hmm.
do you like that racking of focus from the boy, and then they rack focus to the blood on the finger?
I loved it. It was spectacular.
Yeah, they did it
It
again.
was steady and it was smooth.
It was.
John, did you realize that he was starting the Hands Across America and wasn't just standing there for no reason?
I did not pick up on that, Dave. It's a good, excellent point. Oh, that's why the homeless guy was dead. He killed him. Bam. Got it. Check that box. But let's just, can we go talk about the Hands Across America? What the fuck was the point of that at the end? Like, they're just.
It was like the last thing she saw before she was taken from this world.
So what are they going to do? What's the whole point? Like, what are they doing?
Oh, to prove that they can do it, because in real life, Hands Across America failed. There was.
It's a
Well,
logistical nightmare. So yeah, of course it's going to fail.
Yeah. So, but like
There's,
maybe
like, if
underground
they-
it worked.
They had enough people to do it in the real world. It's just because of, like, mountains and shit, they couldn't actually do it directly across.
Yeah,
So
no one's
these
in
people
fucking.
were just doing it.
Not
to
enough
prove
people
they
are
can.
a square
And to-
mile in
and
like
to,
Wyoming.
like,
I think it was to
show
protest,
themselves,
like the
like-
host. Yeah, it was like we exist.
yes.
Notice us.
You can't disenfranchise us anymore.
Yeah,
Well, no, they got the notice when they came out and killing everybody.
yeah. That's my problem. I wish only Red's family was doing the killing.
Why
And-
did everyone murder?
Why
I
did
didn't
everyone-
mind that they were, like...
No,
There
that's
was
like a
other
big flaw
doppelgangers?
that I have.
I didn't like the Hands Across America, though. I think if they didn't show that and they had cut away and, like, ended it with, like, Adelaide looking at her son and, like, him giving the knowing glance and pulling down the mask, and that was just the very end, I would have liked it.
Yo, what about they're in Santa Cruz, and there's one line where like she was like, "I don't want to go to Santa Cruz. There's a bunch of weirdos at that beach." She's right. Santa Cruz is full of gross people. Don't the boardwalk's fun. The beach is disgusting. They were like going into the Pacific Ocean as if I didn't know my geography. What are you doing? You're not going to go across the Pacific Ocean. You're on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
They showed a shot. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Just going into the water.
It was dumb.
I didn't mind Hands Across America thing because it was all about
I
them just showing like we exist. We've existed for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You guys,
It just seemed really. It seemed corny as hell for me.
It was corny, but I think, like, again, this is a horror movie where, like, you just have to accept, like, there's corny shit. Like, you have to suspend disbelief.
This is one of those times where it's just not for me. And I'm dragging you guys down because some of those things, yeah, I probably should have picked up on. Like walking through the hallway, I was sitting there Like, well, this is fucking stupid. How are you going to make every one of these turns correctly and make sense now? She's,
Did you also
she's been
get
there.
that as she kept going down like another level, more and more rabbits were appearing as she was going farther and farther in the rabbit hole?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. That was like a message I picked up on, like, without having to read Reddit or anything.
Yeah, but then-
and I was like,
But then you think,
Fuck
like,
yeah.
what was a fucking... Oh, they ate the rabbits. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ate the rabbits. It's pretty brutal.
It's disgusting.
What's the other thing? Just do.
I think Elizabeth Moss was fantastic in this too. This might be my favorite role of her.
Oh, I laughed. That was the only time I laughed when the Elizabeth Moss said to her daughters, like, get out of your rooms, wake up. And her daughters came out and was like, just because we're in our rooms doesn't mean we're sleeping. And Elizabeth Moss just said, fine, okay. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I also really loved when she said, Ophelia, their version of Alexa, call the police, and it just started blasting fuck the police.
Yeah.
Coming straight from the underground. You get it?
Yeah.
Oh,
also,
God.
just a great song to fit that like whole scene.
That's Jimmy. Another great point.
What?
Missed that entirely.
Yeah,
Straight from the underground?
I knew you were going to miss this whole movie.
Well, thank you.
I thought you didn't miss it because when we recorded last week for Headliners, you were like, the movie's amazing.
Yeah, no, I like to just say, whenever I say that, I always say it's great.
Just so people go see it and then listen.
Oh.
Well, because I don't want to tip my hand for what we're going to talk about.
I think there was some sloppiness to this movie. Like, I think it would have been cool if... Because I don't get how, like we said, all the tethered people killed all their tethered and then they did Hands Across America. Doesn't make
So
sense to me.
stupid.
If just Red was getting revenge on her family and then the rest were doing a form of nonviolent protest by doing Hands Across America, I could have got down with that. But then you don't have the whole white family getting killed, which tied into, being born into richness,
Affluence.
affluence. So I think it was sloppy. Like I don't think this, and I think they could have cut out so much. I think it's a good movie. I think, like I said in my intro, Jordan Peele's ability to take societal issues, package them in horror flicks that even the brainless can go enjoy, and then sprinkle these like real issues in there. I think that's incredible. Like I really do think it's
Which,
impressive.
even if people don't realize they're observing these like societal issues, they're gonna like absorb some of it, whether they realize it or not.
But the whole thing, the metaphor of the underclass and the wealthy and all that good shit, I mean, in real life, the upper class is well aware of the lower class. They know they're there.
not.
They know they're there.
I
They
don't
know
think they
exist,
know how hard it is.
but they know they're there.
But yeah, like they know they're there, but it's kind of like, if they worked hard, they would be better than us.
I don't know.
Like,
It's just
they would
weird
be
having
on
this
our
complete
level.
secret society on there. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you're really not into it.
No, I'm not. I'll give you a heads up. My popcorn's 3.5. I didn't hate it. It had suspenseful moments. It got me, but then just it got like stupid at some points.
What about
Sorry, I shouldn't say stupid. It wasn't for me, and I didn't pick up on all the things I should have, or fuck it, not should have. I didn't pick up on things. Wasn't on my radar.
kind of shoulda?
Well, no, not when I already check out.
When did you check out?
When the white family doppelganger showed up, I was like, what the fuck? How many of these guys are there? And I was like, all right, this is pretty bad.
Dave,
It was earlier. It was early.
I want to talk. Dave, do you think she remembered all that, or she repressed it and then it came back during all this? Because if they are trying to sell it to me as that she didn't remember that she had switched and then she did at the end, like that's bullshit. So it is a little weird to me going under the understanding that she knew the tethered were down there and she knew all about that. And that's why she didn't want to go to the beach. It wasn't just like PTSD from a repressed memory. It was, she knew all this, because that's how I think it has to be. None of her actions make sense. It's all kind of, it was just to give us some
I think,
scares and kills.
In our mind, like bullshit, like you would remember that. But like that was an extremely traumatic thing. and she was a child, so it makes sense to me that she would repress it. But I also like that it's up in the air. You can look at it either way. Like, your view of looking at it could be right, mine could be right. And he left it up to the viewer to decide.
Like her, like calling the cops. It's like, you know what's going on. You know who these people are. When the real Adelaide / Red starts like telling the story, we ate rabbits and all that with the voice, like she knows.
See, I think she didn't at first, and I think the moment she knew earlier than the end of the movie, though. I think the moment that it comes back to her was a moment I called out earlier, was when her face was being pushed down and the glass cracks, and I think that was like the snap of her memory coming back to her. Because after that, she's all action. She manages to trick Red. She gets her kids out, and she like is immediately from then on being like, "We're doing what I'm saying. Let's fucking go."
Yeah.
She's not terrified anymore.
The smile she gives at the end was creepy,
Ooh, yeah.
and the kids.
Lupita Nyong'o, it was fantastic. They all were, I think. There was no bad actors, especially the kids, because I'm always worried about the kids.
I see. I didn't think she was that good for a long time because all the voices didn't make sense until the end. So like as I was watching, I was thinking she's like being weird right now. Her accent is weird. Her talking pattern is changing like crazy. And I thought the voice was dumb as fuck. But then like at the end, you find out why all that's happening and it's kind of backed up.
I think this is a movie that really lends itself to like multiple rewatches. Because now you can watch it and like Sheehan, you can go back and watch it and see all these things and be like, okay, I see how she's building up to this.
It's definitely a movie that you watch it. That's step one. Step two is figuring out what you watched.
Never got to that point.
And then you decide if you like it or not, because like what Sheehan watched in his brain sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Agreeing with me finally.
Well, I'm agreeing that you didn't really watch the movie correctly. It's not really
He's
your
more
fault.
blaming you than the movie.
You've explained it. It's fine. You go brain
No,
dead.
no,
You
I
just-
know. We're on the same page. I have no animosity towards you guys for understanding the movie, whereas I did not.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me, and I'm just
like I said in the
wasn't
beginning,
in the right.
if you can't suspend your disbelief enough, then I think the movie is like it's a boring bullshit movie.
And also,
But if you can, I think it's a very interesting and it lends itself to a lot of thought afterwards.
I think it's also I got to get myself prepared to watch movies better because I mean, I now lately I've been watching movies after I put the kid down to sleep. It's late, I run out, so I'm like exhausted. Things are slipping through the cracks.
Got to get yourself some smelling salt.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do.
Get your monsters and your popcorn and get to going.
I haven't had a monster since November. Thank you very much.
Nice. Good for you.
Yep.
I had one today.
No, I mean my heart was like constantly hurting. I was like, this isn't good for me.
Yeah. They're not.
No.
Used to crush those during recording.
Yeah, I used to have two, at least one a day.
What?
Yeah,
That's so unhealthy.
for like 4 years.
No
one a
wonder
day.
your body's like killing itself.
Not great for me.
Holy shit. That's scarier than this movie. This movie was
It's like you know how alcoholics they can't drink anymore or else they'll die. I feel like that's me with Monster now.
this movie wasn't scary at all.
No. I think the first like 30 minutes or so until they not even 30 minutes. I just think
No, man, those
from
are
when they
boring.
like appear outside until like the family starts fighting back. It's a very
Yeah,
tense, scary.
when action started happening, that's when it was kind of like it wasn't scary anymore. With the suspense building up to the first like hit.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's when the
When like
dads
Gabe's being dragged
dragged
outside.
out. That was no longer scary anymore because like, all right, well, we're in it. This is happening. But like
Yes.
the tension of like what might happen. That's when it was kind of like on edge.
Dumbest part of this movie, and this isn't like a real critique, but the dumbest part of this movie was when the Gabe is like, no, we're not going to call the cops. I'm going to go talk to him. Yo, if 4 people are standing at the end of your driveway like that, when the power goes
call
out,
the
you call
cops.
the cops so quick.
Yep.
So I agree with you, but I think that might be a race thing.
That may be.
Like black families are less likely to like call the cops in these situations because they cops could show up and shoot them, so they don't want to deal with that. They'd rather handle the
Because
problems
fuck the
themselves.
police coming straight from the underground. I get it. I get it. All right, let's go into our ratings.
Should I abstain from this one?
No. I mean, unless you're gonna like tank it just because you didn't like it.
I mean, yeah, I think that you should try and now that you
no,
know.
it's
you
my
should-
original was a 68, and that's not the case anymore because obviously I missed a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So it's getting boosted now.
Okay.
That's fair.
Mhm.
Well, okay.
Why don't we do popcorn since you already gave that earlier?
3.5 for popcorn.
I have a 5.
I had a 4. Because I thought the first act was so slow and boring.
Mm-hmm.
So I dropped. And I was set on a 3.5 for a while. And then the ending, and when it all started to click for me, I was kind of like, all right, kind of like that. So I changed it.
I'm actually so happy you like this movie, Jimmy, because when you sent that text while you were watching it, and you're like, Dave and I are going to fight this episode, I was like, fuck. Like,
That was right when Lupita started talking in that voice.
oh.
Like I was so, my notes, you should see them, I was so out. I have like 5 notes, just get to the fucking second act. Get to the second act. I couldn't take it. We didn't review Get Out, did we?
No. That came out
No, we
early
always,
2017, and we
We
started.
referenced it all the time, and Dave only saw half of it for like years.
Yeah. I just watched it last winter.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what that average is to, like a 4?
About a 4. We'll put it into our handy dandy sheet and figure it out.
All right. What about critical? So Sheehan, you're going to give us our lowest. It seems like you started at a 68. Interesting to know that, to see what we brought it up to here.
Yeah, I'm looking at my my sheet here. I want to reference this. 'cause
What
I
are
still
you
wanna,
looking
like-
at for comps?
I'm looking up the ladder here. I'm starting at 68 and I'm working my way up. I'm thinking it's better than this, better than this, better than that. I'm gonna go probably around like 83.
Okay. Wow. That's super. That's a big jump, 68 to 83.
Well, because when you miss half the fucking movie, yeah, no, that tends to happen.
All right. My score is an 85.
All right.
Because I don't think
I-
this is like there's so many sloppiness to it. I love what he was able to do, like I said, and I think there's a lot of good things, but as high as I could get it was to 85 without me being like, all those
Yeah,
flaws.
I stand by the fact that Hands Across America thing was such bullshit and it's dumb.
I can understand
Fair.
that.
Which is completely fair.
Yes.
He added it
I'm-
in late.
So
Did he?
weird.
Yeah, he said he added it
I
in
wish he had
after.
left it out. And I'm giving it an 88.
Wow, that
So
might be
I-
that might be the smallest gap we've had.
Probably.
We're all within the same 5 points.
Technically, because I just got bullied up.
You
Not
didn't.
bullied.
You didn't get
not,
bullied.
Not bullied. Not
You
bullied.
didn't, yeah, you could have given
No.
it what you wanted, but you're
But
like, oh, this all like kind of makes sense now.
My brain just starts working. Well, the gears are turning. Like, okay, yeah.
Well, that
Checking
puts us
those
at an
dots.
85.3.
I think that's perfectly fair for this movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've said that for the last like 4 movies we've reviewed.
I actually think that's kind of high.
yeah.
But that's what I gave. That's what I personally gave it.
You were counting on us to bring it down?
No, that was as high as I could get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there's some like flaws, Dave. Even though we liked it, there's still like just some silliness to it.
for sure. So
I wasn't all wrong.
Rotten Tomatoes. What do you guys want first, audience or critical?
Critical. And I think it's going to be, man, I feel like they're going to love it. They love when there's messages like this. I think it's going to be an 89.
Sheehan?
I'm going to go 85.
It has a 94.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, but critics just love this like deep stuff.
Yeah,
They do. I know, they do.
for sure.
Bizarre.
All right, audience, what do you guys think it's at?
Oh, I mean, any movie where you have to do homework, the audience score usually isn't going to be that high, I don't think. Because a lot of people just want to go and watch a movie and then leave the movie and say, man, that was a good movie, not say, man, what was that movie about? It's a totally different watch experience. So I'm going to guess the audience is kind of low. I'm going to guess 69.
I'm going to go 60.
It's at 70, so you were so close.
Yeah. I got a good read on that. Like, there's a lot of people
Yeah,
out there
you
like
did.
John who
You did.
don't have 2 people telling them everything that it all meant.
And
I
they
gotta-
should listen to this podcast to figure it out.
Man, I depend on you guys to tell me what's going on all the time. It's refreshing.
It is weird. I will say, John, it is weird just because you do a podcast about movies. Like you knew you were going to talk about this, yet you still watched it like you were just my grandma going to see a movie that was never going to be on her mind ever again.
I know. It's just it's this genre movie that just doesn't do it for me. It's like you with superhero movies. I want to, but I can't. There's a block with this, and I can't explain it.
Yeah. All right. It's
So
fine.
That's fair.
apologies all around. Seriously, I wish I could contribute more to this one, but
It's all good.
It's all good. All right.
Question
Oh.
for you guys. If Ben Affleck was in this movie, who would he play?
I mean the only other white guy, right? The dad.
Yeah, he'd play the drunk dad, the drunk asshole dad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that's him.
Although I do think Tim Heidecker was amazing as that drunk asshole dad.
No idea who that guy is. I was like,
No.
why do they have a no name in this role?
I didn't know who he was either, but
He just dropped his
You
name
fucking
as if he's
asshole.
your best friend.
I looked up his name before because he was good.
You.
You didn't know Tim Heidecker? He was amazing. This is his best work yet to date.
No, I mean he was a no name, but I felt like or at least to me,
Well,
but
now
he
he
was
has a name to
fantastic. in
Dave.
it.
Jesus Christ, Dave. All right. Well, on that note, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. We will be back on Friday with our headliners, and then on Monday with. We're
The
not
Highwaymen?
positive. We'll let you know. The Highwaymen?
Either the Highwayman or Beach Bum.
Probably the
Highwaymen's
Highwaymen.
in.
Probably the
Yes.
Highwayman.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Love y'all.